Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 things only 90s kids experienced.
Clip, 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 and sample songs so only the groove sticks.
For this list, we'll be going over the events, trends, and items that are especially familiar to those born in the 1990s. If there's something about the 90s that you feel made them unique, leave some badical comments. Number 10. Freaking Out About Y2K.
One simple date change for man. One major screw-up for computer.
Chances are, if you were born in the 21st century, you have no idea what Y2K even refers to. See, some early computer programs weren't programmed with 4-digit years in mind, only the final two, so theoretically, the year 2000 in some computers would read as 1900 instead. Many predicted that a global computer catastrophe would occur when the dates changed at the turn of the millennium.
Elevators may stop. Heat may vanish. Credit cards and ATMs may cease to function. Airplanes and trains may come to a halt.
Of course, updates from programmers and basic common sense meant it ended up as no big deal. But as children, computers were magic run by wizards.
A lot of people still thought it was a joke. Today, no one is laughing, least of all the corporations and public entities that have spent an estimated $200 billion trying to fix the problem.
Our parents hoarding canned food in preparation for the Y2K apocalypse probably didn't help. Number 9. The Macarena. This Latin dance song topped charts worldwide, and it was absolutely everywhere during the decade. On TV, in schools, on the streets, at sporting events. You name the place, and chances are you'd hear that obnoxiously catchy beat and see someone doing the incredibly simple dance moves.
It goes, Dalla holla walla balla dalla Macarena, waka laka chaka haka baka Macarena.
Whether you loved it, tolerated it, or dreaded it, there was no escaping the Macarena.
Visual on just what Mission Specialist Sharif is doing up there.
He appears to be doing some form of the Macarena. That would be just a best guess scenario on my part.
Dance crazes may come and go these days, with trends appearing and disappearing as fast as the internet's attention span. But for those of us who were kids in the 90s, the Macarena is forever. Number 8. Be Kind, Rewind.
Call it a VHS.
VHS. I feel like I've heard that. You're just telling me words that I don't know.
For most kids these days, rewinding something is just a turn of phrase to describe going backward on a video. But 90s kids remember when rewinding literally involved winding a tape. Tapes had to be rewound by holding down a button on the VCRs. Except, despite the famous warning on tapes, not everyone was kind enough to rewind them.
That'll be $3.49.
$3.49? It says $1.49.
Well, you didn't rewind it. There's a $2 charge for not rewinding.
There's no signs here. This is an outrage.
Nothing killed the mood of a sleepover movie night like having to spend long minutes holding down a button while the VCR whirred and went back to the beginning, and then having to do it again once the movie was over.
How can we scan forward?
Oh yeah, just hold the play button down and press FF until you hear it grind.
Number 7. The taste of victory after opening a Capri Sun correctly.
All natural Capri Sun. Liquid cool.
There are a lot of juice boxes out there, but Capri Sun held a special place among the rest. Sure, Capri Sun is still around, they haven't gone away, but they really hit their stride in the 90s. For one, they're delicious. But more importantly, their foil packaging makes them shine brighter than the rest. Literally. However, that same packaging makes them a nightmare to open.
What's the deal with Capri Suns? I have to puncture a foil pouch with a straw. Hello? I'm a child, not a registered nurse.
Accidentally poking yourself with the straw or causing an accidental leak is all too common. Still, when you get it right on the first try while the rest of your friends struggle, well, we all felt 10 feet tall when we were kids.
Respect the pouch! Respect it!
Number 6. Dial-up internet. We're all spoiled when it comes to the internet these days. Even slower wireless or wired connections are still pretty fast. But back in the 90s, the option of choice for most, at least in the United States, was AOL, or America Online.
And by 2000, AOL subscribers had ballooned from less than 200,000 in 1992 to 25 million.
It was dial-up, which meant it used a phone line, and maxed out at a blistering 56 kilobytes per second. Sure, we'd have to wait minutes at a time for things to load, and that screechy dial-up noise followed by "You've got mail" is forever embedded in our brains. But it was all we had.
Welcome. You've got mail.
And then the 2000s rolled around, and suddenly DSL and wireless came into the picture. We were the first and last generation to grow up with dial-up internet. Number 5. Bizarre experimental foods and getting our parents to buy them for us.
Shark bites fruit snacks. You've got to eat them before they eat you.
Kids love to eat weird things, no matter the decade. Still, food companies and chains got a little wild during the 1990s. Brightly colored foods of every shade, including a few new ones, were all too common. Fruit snacks of all shapes and sizes abounded.
New color by the foot! It's foot after foot after foot of colorful fun!
Existing brands tried to branch out to new ideas, like McDonald's trying to do pizza or Oreos giving cereal a try. And sugar? Absolutely everywhere. Still, the real trick was convincing our parents to buy so many weird and obviously unhealthy products. It's fruit flavored, Mom! That means it's healthy.
It says purple stuff inside. Purple is a fruit.
Number 4. Hit clips.
Coming at you right between the ears is hit clips. Music to get you grooving.
Technically, these weren't around until the year 2000, but 90s kids were still the ones they were marketed to, so we're counting them. Before most MP3 players, there were hit clips. These were basically digital audio players for kids, with exchangeable cartridges that had short clips from popular songs. That's right, not even the full songs.
Get your groove on with Dream. Hit it with hit clips.
Hit clips. Some available today, more on the way, each sold separately.
And we still bought them. The compact, lightweight design and decent catalog of songs sold millions of units. Sure, they quickly became obsolete, but for those of us who couldn't afford an iPod, hit clips were a hit.
The best thing about hit clips? Always something new. New players. And the newest music. Like the new Britney Spears. And Michelle Branch.
Number 3. The Grunge Wave. While various individual bands and singers stood out in the 90s, when it came to genres, grunge was the up-and-coming king. Grunge often featured distorted electric guitars and angsty lyrics. 90s kids got to grow up listening to bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and the Smashing Pumpkins on the radio, and on our parents' CDs, if they had good taste. Still, all that grunge may explain why so many of us are so introspective and depressed. Totally worth it though.
Black hole sun, won't you come?
Number 2. The necessity for everything to light up, change colors, or be inflatable. 90s fashion and other trends skewed towards the colorful, but just one color wasn't enough. We had to have flashing colors, changing colors. Our shirts changed colors, and so did our drinks.
By dropping in these magic changers, you can switch or squeeze its colors right before your eyes.
No way!
Our iMacs were see-through and came in different colors. Shoes had flashing lights for when we played outside until after it was dark.
Leave your lights on. New lights by LA Gear.
And when we came back home, we didn't flop down in any old desk chair. No, it was inflatable chairs or the floor.
Like any pool raft or air mattress, these products had one major flaw: their deflation rate. Aside from the uncomfortable sound these bad boys make when you plant your booty in the narrow seat, they didn't keep their shape very well.
The 90s were a weird and cool time to be a kid. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Being the only ones to love the internet.
Millions of Americans own a personal computer. If you're one of them, you can now glimpse the future with nothing more than a modem, a phone line, and a few dollars a month.
It probably seems bizarre now, but back in the 1990s, it was mostly kids who loved the internet. We grew up surfing the web, so it was normal for us. But for adults, the internet was often viewed as confusing, a fad, or yet another thing that corrupts the minds of the young.
What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate with, I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
Growing up, we couldn't even use the internet as a source for papers in school because it was seen as an unreliable source. Granted, that's often true. But even so, 90s kids will always be the first to embrace the internet with open arms. Well, us and David Bowie. That guy was always ahead of the curve.
The actual context and the state of content is going to be so different to anything that we can really envisage at the moment, where the interplay between the user and the provider will be so in simpatico. It's going to crush our ideas of what mediums are all about.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.